Yo guys, what's going on? Robert Warshack here, and I'll be going over the best minis currently in the game to put in a variety of your squads. These guys are found in pretty much every one of my comps. They are just really good, and I'll go over each. First one is being the Huntress. This unit is an actual unit. This is almost in every single one of my comps. Yes, it can die quite quickly, but if played correctly, it is like one, if not, it is so good. So this unit is a ranged unit, so it can attack both flying units and ground units. It has like an AoE bouncing blade, so it can hit multiple units at once. It's a fast unit, which means it gets to places really quickly, and I believe it has resistance on it. Yes, it has resistance on it as well. So this unit, really good. Like I said, a lot of the PvE portion of this game will play a lot of squad units against you, and this unit is fantastic at clearing PvE. For talents, Elven Might is the best. Deal 50% additional damage to the initial target, because if you're dealing more damage to the initial target and then your blade is bouncing, you're technically doing more damage on the bouncing blades as well. So increasing damage by 50% is just, this is a no-brainer. Quick note, if you're looking for the best leaders to pick and talents for those leaders, I did make a guide on those as well. I'll put that in the description below. This video is just going to be targeting minis and which minis a lot of people are using for both PvE and PvE, so you can get as much done as possible. Moving to the next mini, it's going to be the Quillar. So this guy may not look good at first, but once you play with him, you'll understand why he's so powerful. At a 2 gold mini, he is not only an unbound, but he is also a tank. So not only being unbound for 2 gold, which is huge, you can place him anywhere on the map. You can put him in front of towers. You can use him to rotate enemy minions. You can use him to try to get your minions to get past something or not get hit. I mean, there's a million uses for unbound, and being a cheap tank that doesn't die, does decent amount of damage, and has a giant health pool. I mean, this guy is actually just nuts. The talent that I chose on this guy is Bristleback. Deal a small amount of damage to melee attackers. Obviously, he's a tank. He's obviously going to get attacked by stuff, so him doing a little bit more damage to them is really good. There's really no other talent, in my opinion, that is as useful as this, because it's pretty much always going to happen. And look at all the traits on this guy, too. When weaving him into a team, I mean, there's going to be a slot for him. Melee, 1 target, unbound, resistant, cycle, and tank. So, I mean, this is basically, if you were to just slap all the keywords, you were to slap something with keywords, it'll look like this. Moving to Harpies. All right, these are super good. The Harpies originally cost 3 gold. They're a flying unit, which is sometimes hard to get rid of and is really good at against any ground unit. Like your opponent plays an abomination for 6 gold, you can play a 3 gold Harpy and absolutely shred the abomination and have all of the Harpies live. They go in a pack of 3, so they're a squad unit. They do a really good amount of damage, and they move quite quickly. So talent for these, I personally like the Trinket Collectors. Gain the minor trait and increase the cost by 1, even though they turn into a 4 gold unit, because they're fast moving and there's 3 of them. If they go over a mine, they mine it like super fast. Like within seconds, they mine all of the ore. So if it increased gold cost is 1, and like you play them once during a game and they mine 2 to 3 gold, that basically pays back the increased cost for them. And this is denying, if it's a PvE opponent, them gold, or a PvP opponent, them gold. So it's just really good, and I think it's just because of how fast they move. Talon Dive is also really good if you just want them to just do more damage. They already do a shit ton of damage, but deal double damage on the first attack is going to really shred stuff. So for traits, they're flying, squad, minor, and fast. There's also a really interesting thing you can do in dungeons, where you can play the Beast Quillar Lady, and you can get Harpies to 1 gold. And then they get the plus 25 level Noble thing. It's a bit cheesy. I don't know if they patched it or not, but I just thought I'd mention it, because if having like level 40 some Harpies and being in a squadron of 3, they're unkillable and they one-shot everything. Moving to another awesome unit. It's going to be Safe Pilot. So this is another unbound mini that when you use it over the map with a short delay, it does damage to basically everything around it. But what makes this unit really good, it's like okay at first, but what makes it stand out is the talent. So you have the cloaking device, which deploys from the explosion with stealth and ambush. So you use it, and normally it would die immediately after it like lands. It doesn't have time to shoot, and its shot does a lot of damage. So the cloaking device basically allows it to have stealth, so it doesn't get hit by anything, and then it gets 1 to 2 shots off. Plus it has ambush. So it does a lot of damage. It's killing a ton of stuff for 3 gold, and itself lives, and then it'll get re-stealthed if it kills what it kills, then continues walking down the lane. So really good unit. This is mainly for PvP. Still good in PvE, but insane unit for PvP. It would be bad not to mention it. So this is ranged, AoE, elemental, unbound. This is not an easy unit to use, so it's going to take some time to get used to it. Another fantastic unit is going to be the Griffin Rider. Again, 2 gold units that either have flying or the ability to do something unique are going to be stand out here. So with the Griffin Rider being a 2 gold flyer, really nuts. It does a lot of damage, and it can attack faster with Odin's Fury. Its talents are pretty good. Airdrop's not bad. I like the Fury. I like attacking faster. It does more damage. More damage kills things quicker, and things dying quicker makes me win. And then there's Mighty Throw, which gains +3 range. Mighty Throw is also really good, being able to outrange some other flying units, so it can either attack things before it gets to it and kill it, or the 2 things are equal range. Having that hit it first means this guy lives and the other thing dies. So between Odin's Fury and Mighty Throw, honestly, you can't go wrong with either. This is going to be a flying 1. It's a single target, a cycle, and we added Fury to it. So really just a good, nice, well-rounded unit. Another tier S unit that you will see a lot of people use, and that's going to be the Defas Bandit. So again, 1 gold, very cheap, very cheap. However, what's key about these guys is when they have stealth and they attack like a unit that they get to, they stun it for like 2 or 3 seconds. So you can place this like under a tower or a defending tower, and when your opponent walks up, the tower starts hitting it or another unit starts hitting it, and then you can use this 1 gold unit to stun them so they don't do any damage to anything else. You can also put the talent on it, the Deadly Poison, which is really good. So they gain poison, so they deal even more damage. You can add Pick Lock, earn an extra 2 gold when opening chests, which is really good because they have stealth, and getting chests with stealth minions is a lot easier than not. You could also grab Last Resort on death, stun the target for 3 seconds. Not a huge fan of this one, just because on death there may not be anything around them to benefit from this. However, with Deadly Poison, regardless of the things happening around them, they're still giving that thing poison. So, and poison is good. So these traits are going to be melee, squad, stealth, cheap shot, and cycle. So really good for cheap builds. Again, 1 gold. It's kind of hard like not to weave this guy into stuff just because he's so versatile. Another grade A unit in my mind is the Stonehoof Taren, and this is because everybody's going to be playing Huntress, right? We went over how good Huntress is. It's a very popular unit in both PvP, and you'll see it a lot in PvP. So what's cool about this unit is he absolutely decimates Huntress because he charges to the back line, like the furthest target to him, and he does a lot of damage. So we have an exceptionally beefy bruiser that will charge into battle and even charge while she's in battle. So she'll charge to like the target in the back, kill it, charge again in the front. There is actually a talent which will allow this to charge twice. So we have momentum. After connecting a charge, immediately charge a second time if possible, which is crazy in PvP. Insane. But Pummel is also really good. After connecting a charge, stun the target for 3 seconds. A lot of the time, the target will die unless it's a tank. So you don't really get the value of Pummel too much. However, momentum, you're going to get this value almost every time it's alive. So momentum, it would be my pick for sure with this character. This is going to be a melee, single target, tank, and charger. All right, next we have the Whelp eggs. So this is particularly good if you once you get the Flame Burst talent. So until you get Flame Burst talent, this eggs, they're not really that great. But if you have the extra time, I would recommend leveling up and then give them this. It damages nearby enemies when hatching. So what you can do with this in PvE or PvE is you put this in front of like a melee person, like the charger person I just talked to you about, a giant skeleton, a tank. They will end up attacking the eggs. The eggs blow up, which basically kills any small unit. So any like Baron skeletons, skeleton party, any sort of token, murlocs. And then if it's like a tank, the whelps that come out of the eggs will actually just kill the tank or the brute that's killing the eggs. And it's a free kill. And it's like 3 gold, and then the whelps just do a lot of damage, period. So it has like a nice AoE around it for smaller minions, or it can take out tanks or any sort of like mid-range bruiser. So for traits, we have flying, squad, elemental, unbound, and then hatching. I didn't even know hatching was a trait, but sure. All right, so we covered basically all the like tier S, like very good. You're going to see these all the time in PvE. You should have quite a few of these in your PvE comp or even PvP comp as well. Moving towards some like noteworthy minis, but not the like absolute best. We have Banshee. This is really good for PvP if timed correctly. We have the Will of Necropolis on there, so whatever it takes goes back to full health. We have Gargoyle. This carried me through a lot of PvE matchups just because he can, I think it's like 4-shot towers, 5-shot bases or something. I mean, he just does insane damage. However, he doesn't attack anything else, so he's very easy to deal with. Like a single Harpies or any anti-air, like this guy doesn't do anything, but if he is on check, he will solo the base or towers. And in PvE, sometimes you can well time this guy. I'm a big fan of healing, and that's why I really like the Shaman. This does a chain lightning, and it also does a chain heal. This is really good again for PvE because you can line up a few of these together, put them on your leader, and then you basically have what is an unkillable like lane push. You can like get through a lot of PvE content through well-timed Frostwolf Shamans. We have the Wolf Rider, again, just a very strong 4-cost unit. You'll see this a lot sometimes in PvE. You'll see it a lot in PvE. Just a really solid horde unit. Sunder Armor is what I picked on this guy because it just seemed the best to me. A lot of people use sieging if they're playing like a face comp. I don't like units that don't like attack other things unless you're like specifically trying to do something like that. But yeah, Warsong Rider is good, but just like not insanely great. You're going to see the Pyromancer a lot in PvE. It's because it counters Harpies, it counters any sort of flying unit, and it has decent range to it. A lot of people pick up the Pyroblast till triple damage on the first attack or can flag, which splash area is doubled. So it just does what it does, but even better or does more damage. And I think the last worthy note for PvE purposes only is going to be the Flame Waker. He attacks that giant cone in front of him. However, he doesn't hit air, but each successive attack increases the distance and it resets on movement. So if this guy is tucked behind a tank and he's continuously attacking and there's a wave of enemies like going after you, like the wave gets longer and he can clear out a lot of stuff. So this guy really powerful if used correctly. And I've seen a lot of people cheese out on some really hard PvE bosses by putting him in their comp. So with that, if you have any questions or comments on anything, leave it in the comment section below. That's what it's there for. I'll be happy to try to get back to each and every one of you. And with that, as always, guys, happy whatever the hell day it is.